Okay, this is my screen. What I'm going to do today, as I mentioned in my intro, is I'm going to show you some of the functionalities that QuickBooks has. Now, QuickBooks just started with a new functionality called Projects. And projects I recommend for any type of client who is into contract work with projects, meaning maybe they are a plumber and perhaps they do different types of projects. Maybe you even have the same client, and that client you're coming back not to do the regular repair and maintenance, but perhaps one time you're building out a bathroom for that client. And maybe the next time you're doing their kitchen plumbing. You're setting something up new, putting in new fixtures, and you actually want to take a look to see how much that type of project is valued at, because you're not quite sure how much you should be pricing your clients. Or maybe you're not quite sure if that's the kind of work you want to continue to do. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the functionality, what you can get out of QuickBooks, and I'm always going to recommend to you that you have a trusted advisor who can help you navigate QuickBooks as well, so that you're getting the best out of it. So this is your dashboard. It's the basic dashboard that you'll have with QuickBooks Online. To the left, you'll find projects. So we're going to go to projects really quick. One last thing I should mention to you, Projects is only available on QuickBooks Online Plus, so keep that in mind. So we're going to hit Projects, and I'm just going to show you a quick dashboard of what one particular client might actually see. So we've set Projects up for this client, and as you can see, he's got here the type of work he's doing, and then underneath he's got the client himself. So when we set up projects, we're setting up, let's say I mentioned to you the kitchen work, okay, the kitchen plumbing. So we might have something called kitchen plumbing, and then we can choose that customer and select kitchen plumbing. And so now we're going to see what active projects this person is working on, or this company is working on. I'm able to classify in projects their income and their costs. Their costs are their materials, their cost of goods sold. So if the client has job materials, paint, if they're a plumber, they've got whatever plumbers use for that particular project, it all goes in there. And also their labor costs go in there as well. What you'll be able to find in doing that is we'll put the entire amount of their sales in. So if the plumbing project is contracted out for, let's say, $40,000, maybe it's new construction, okay, that's what we put in the system, and then we also net against it the costs, and we'll get their profit margin. Over here, we can also put in how much time actually the person has worked, or his crew has worked. And I've actually connected something like T-sheets to this, so that the client can clock in and clock out. I even do that for myself. So maybe one of these tutorials will go through the power of T-sheets. If you wanted to turn off projects for some reason, you would go back to Accounts and Settings and uncheck the box from within your own QuickBooks Online company. And note, at this time, there is no option to turn it off for clients accessed from QuickBooks Online Accountant or for your firm's books. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to add a project. So in the right-hand corner here, you'll see New Project. So you just select that, and you'll type in the project name. So we're just going to type in Joe's bathroom remodel. Okay, and the customer will select, let's just say we're going to select Joe. Okay, Joe Johnson. That's actually my brother's name. All right, and I'm just going to do a quick save. He's my new customer. Right here you can actually add some notes. So these are some details. Maybe Joe told you a couple of things that you want to remember later on in the project. So perhaps Joe likes gold fixtures. I'm just going to type in likes gold fixtures. And perhaps Joe said to you that he wanted a low threshold shower. Just something for you to remember, all right? And then you can hit save. All right, and now you have where Joe has his income and his costs, and you can add things to the project. So I'm going to hit this drop down on the top right hand. Let's say you're ready to do Joe's estimate. Right here you can actually begin. You hit estimate and you can create one for him the way you would normally create it. So if Joe was already in the system and you had all of his information, his address, his email, all of that would populate themselves. Today's date is April the 30th, and you can have an expiration on a QuickBooks estimate. So you're really giving him this price until maybe it's a 45-day price. So we're just going to type in May the 15th. Actually, I'm sorry, June the 15th. Okay. If there was a PO number associated with it or a sales rep you wanted to give credit to, you can also select Joe's address or the property. Perhaps Joe, maybe it's not a residential type of situation. Maybe you're doing it at one of his homes, or maybe you're doing it at a building. So select the property, and now you can begin to give him an estimate. You can select in your bathroom renovation, perhaps you've already selected or set up your products and services, and you select plumbing. And of course you can have a quantity or just have the price. So we're going to have a quantity of one in his plumbing. I'm just going to say $1,000. Okay, and select tax if there's tax, and I'm sure that there isn't. And if you've set up classes already, and we'll definitely go through classes at one point, you can actually select a class. And I love classes because you're able to put reports together based on some of the work that you do, so that maybe you don't want just the project itself. Perhaps you want to know, out of everything that you've worked for all year long or all month long, how much money did I make off of, I don't know, bathroom tile? And you can, run a report just strictly on the tile work that you've done. So I love putting classes in. So we'll talk classes later on in our tutorials. Okay, for now we're not going to put anything, and then you just do save and send if you had an email, or just save and close it. Okay, so right now it's giving me a little pop-up that said I didn't select a class, and am I sure that I want to save the transaction? I'm going to say no. Okay, and perhaps I put the class in later on and save and close, but you get the point. I don't want to save this because Joe really is not a client. All right, so that's how projects works. It's how you set it up and how you add a new project. And like I mentioned to you, I always recommend having a trusted advisor to kind of walk through it with you so that you're using QuickBooks to the best of its ability. So if you have any questions, drop me a line.